And question number 2, Jamie Green.
To ask the Scottish Government what its response is to the result of the UK Parliament's vote on Heathrow expansion and its implications for Scotland.
Minister Hamza Youssef.
The Scottish Government welcomes that the third runway project is now moving to the stage of Heathrow applying for a development consent order, but notes that, of course, some MPs across all the political parties were not persuaded to support the UK Government's national policy statement. It is now incumbent on the UK Government to build more confidence in the process and more clearly set out the economic benefits which a third runway at Heathrow can deliver throughout the UK. The Scottish Government's position remains that Scotland should benefit proportionally from the new runway capacity and that this should be subject to guarantee, and we note the Secretary of State's commitment made during last night's Westminster debate on 200 additional weekly flights for Scotland. However, we of course await the detail of that. The UK Government's aviation strategy, to be published later in 2018, will have a significant role to play in setting out how the UK Government intends to deal with the issues such as slot allocation for services to Heathrow for the nations and regions. The Scottish Government will work constructively with the UK Government on that new strategy. I note the concerns conveyed during last night's debate and the potential environmental implications from the new capacity. Whilst we're not responsible for the third runway, the Scottish Government is not divorced from the potential environmental consequences as, of course, a leader in tackling climate change.
Jamie Green.
Expansion at Heathrow offers significant job creation, major investment opportunities, and we look forward to working with Heathrow to bring those significant benefits of a third runway to Scotland. Not my words, Presiding Officer, not my words, not even those of the UK Government, but those of Keith Brown and the SNP Government here in Scotland. But nowhere in Mr Yousaf's answer today did he explain why the SNP has reneged on its Memorandum of Understanding that it signed with Heathrow on a third runway. Nowhere did he answer why his party did not support the creation of the thousands of jobs the expansion will create or the hundreds of new flights that it will bring to Scotland. So let me ask the Minister a simple question. Does the Scottish Government wholeheartedly support Heathrow expansion? Yes or no, Minister?
Minister.
Yes, we still support the third runway at Heathrow. I made that position clear in my opening answer. I know Tory MSPs are used to rolling over and doing whatever Theresa May tells them whenever she wants. Our MPs are absolutely right to demand that they get cast iron guarantees around the 200 additional flights. We also, of course, need confidence on the climate considerations. Why on earth did the UK Government push forward with a vote days before an important report from the Independent Climate Change Committee was due to be published on aviation emissions? Why on earth was the vote not held afterwards? So, with the greatest of respect, I'll take no lectures from Jamie Green. You know, when he is a member of the party that has Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, who said he would lie down in front of bulldozers. He wasn't doing so much lying down as he was doing flying away.
Jamie Green.
So the Cabinet Secretary is somehow saying that the Scottish Government supports a third runway at Heathrow, but it begs the question why its MPs in Westminster did not support it. The new runway was backed by the First Minister, it was backed by the Finance Secretary, the Economy Secretary and even the Transport Secretary himself. Yet, when it came to the crucial vote, the SNP abstained. They ducked out in another grievance-stoking stunt in Westminster. The question is, who gave the order and why? And if we're to believe reports, the First Minister herself ordered MPs not to back it. So, Minister, doesn't this all just go to show that given the choice between stirring up an argument or boosting jobs and the economy in Scotland, for the SNP it's always party first and everything else second?
Minister.
Quite unbelievable. I've already explained that they don't have the cast iron guarantees. If the member could stand up and tell me how those 200 slots will be allocated, I will be all ears. And he absolutely can. And when it comes to the environmental consequences of the third runway, our MPs are absolutely right to demand the detail of that. So yes, in principle, we have the support of the third runway, but that is conditional, unlike the Tory MSPs who will roll over and do whatever Theresa May and the UK Government tell them. We will not. That is why we will stand up for Scotland, demand those guarantees, and of course I'll leave him to complain about this, not just from the sidelines, but actually to do whatever it is that the UK Government tells the Tory party to do.
Mike Rum.